Hi guys, there are a few things I wanted to show you with light on a sphere before we get started with value drawing. And usually we do this as an experiment in class. For this experiment, I have a sphere, which is a racquetball, and I choose a racquetball because it's a mid-tone blue. So it's a nice middle ground as far as color is concerned, as the hue is concerned, the value is concerned. And a camp light, a 200 lumen camp light. It's really strong. So the first thing I want you to do is notice this is natural light. This is light from the window. Even though all the lights are off in my room, I have giant windows. And the light is very soft and diffused. So I wanted you to notice, though, there still is, you can see where the light's hitting the ball, right? Where the mid-tones are, right? It's the highlight, the midtones. Notice how they curve with the sphere, the light hitting the sphere. So the light has directionality. And this really soft cast shadow. You'll notice that the light's hitting the paper and bouncing up and creates this little reflection here, right? But the most important is our middle values. The shadow is on where less light is hitting, shadows, and everything kind of curves to the surface of the sphere. So that is natural light. So every light has a source or a direction, and this is what I really need you to pay attention to when you're doing your value spheres, is the direction of the curvature of what you're doing, the curvature of the sphere, right? Because the light's going to fall kind of in that curvature, and then where the light source is. Okay, so now I'm going to turn on my lamp. And this is a much brighter light. And I'm holding the lamp just out of the picture. Let me see if I can get into the picture from this direction. So I pull it back, and I want you to notice how much brighter the highlight is. Okay? The highlight where the light is hitting, because the light is coming from this direction. Boop. So you see this highlight. Notice the curves. Because the light is closer, the curves aren't as pronounced, but it is still curved along the surface. I think if I take it and angle it a little bit more towards me, now you see how it deepened that curve. Okay, look at how strong the shadow is on the ball, and the cast shadow, because my light is closer, is short, right? But look at it has like a ripple effect. It's dark, and then it gets lighter, 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 lighter. Notice that the reflection, oh, I don't want to knock the ball over, is right, like where it's reflecting off the paper and up. This shadow on the ball it's really dark compared to the midtones and the highlights. So when we say we're going to do shading, we want to make sure that we make it look more realistic. And that is the two things. The curve, if you follow the curve of the ball, and the direction of your light, which are really going to help you. Now watch if I take the light farther away from the ball, what happens, especially with the cast shadow. Did it get lighter or darker? Did it get longer or shorter? What if I take the light really close to the ball? Look, you're going to see it in the camera in a minute. So I'm really close to the ball. What happened to the shadow? Did it get darker or lighter? What happened to the highlight? Look at how giant the highlight is. What about the shadow on the ball? Okay, what if I take the light over to the side of the paper? Look at how skinny that shadow is. Did it get a little darker or a little lighter? What if I get closer? Now where's the highlight? It's not on top of the ball where most people want to draw it. When the light is on the side, where's that highlight? Notice the curvature. So how does this work with other objects? So that was a sphere. Let me place some other objects on my paper. I'm going to move that closer. A cone, a pyramid, and in relationship to each other. So when we were talking and looking at still lifes, right? So I have several different objects, and the direction of the light still, look, they're still, let me move some of these and just do a cone, because a cone is everyone's second favorite shape to do as far as value drawing. I want you to look at the cone. So this is before I put my light on, and the values are fairly even. I mean, it's a lower there's not that much contrast in the values, right? You can see the shadow, the direction of the windows. I turn my light on and look at the shadow. The value of the shadow got darker. If I move it over here, it follows the curve of the cone depending on where I hold my light, right? So that is why when we are drawing, and so to draw this, you really have to look at it first. We talked a lot about looking is as much of an important part of drawing as actually putting the pencil to paper. Looking can be even more important sometimes. So take a minute to look at the object you're going to draw. How does the light hit it? Where's the light coming from? How does the light affect the cast shadow, the shadow that's on the surface where the object is sitting? Okay? If you have anything at home that you can light, you can use the light on your cell phone, right? To light, you know, if you have a baseball at home or even a soccer or football. Footballs are a nice weird shape to kind of play around with drawing. The more you practice things like this and looking, the better you're going to be at drawing. The more you're going to improve your skills. Remember, these are our warm-ups, our squats. So the more you do, the better you'll be. So I hope this helped, and I'll see you in class.